Kristin wants a baby, dang it. Dang it, she wants a baby. And she and her husband have been really honest with you guys about the emotional roller coaster that IVF is. And I think she's done this in a very smart way, if I can say that. She don't want to give you guys non-update updates. So she said that she didn't want to talk about IVF until there was something to update you guys on. And today she's got something to update you guys on.
I had to write something down because there was no way I was going to be able to get through this just off the top of my head. So I'll just go ahead and start. Forgive me. I feel it's important to take a quick look back before I tell you where I currently am with our IVF journey. My husband and I got married in April of 2017 and immediately started trying for a baby. It was later that year my dad called with the news he had cancer. After a year of trying unsuccessfully to get pregnant, and with my dad's advancing cancer, we sought out fertility guidance. Turns out my husband and I had a 3% chance of conceiving on our own. We chose IVF as it was our best option. Halfway through the process, my dad was placed on hospice and life took a hard, unforgiving turn. After a year of healing, we moved forward with our IVF transfer with our one viable embryo in March of this year, only to encounter heartache again. The transfer failed. It was a biochemical pregnancy. Bart and I picked each other up, dusted each other off, and decided to go for round 2. And that leads us to today. After 3.5 years of trying, of hoping, I finally get to say I'm pregnant.
Shut
up.
What?
Shut up.
No!
Oh,
Kristin, oh my
It's lit.
no! Yes! I got chills! There's Bart in his We're Pregnant shirt! Yes! Oh my God! First of all, you suck. Because I thought this was going to be awful.
Wow.
Congratulations! Oh
We're
my
having
God!
a baby.
I am sitting here bracing
Oh
for the
my
worst
God.
because it's been such an emotional roller coaster for you guys.
know.
So I thought you guys were giving it up and you were going to try something else. Oh my God! Congratulations!
I thought you were about to say, we're getting a lizard or something. This is so much better.
Bart, dude, congratulations, man.
Congrats.
Oh, they're saying congratulations.
Yay.
Okay.
He's listening to somebody else's podcast right now.
Just say,
I'm shaking, sorry.
Dude, congratulations.
Thanks, man. Somebody get on the phone with 2020 and tell them we're turning this bitch around.
Serious. Yes. This is the springboard for all of us. Yes. You guys, you got a lot to talk about here. So where are you starting?
I don't know.
I'm in utter shock.
That's all I wrote.
I made a t-shirt. Bert, what else did you want?
What do you want?
Kristen's wearing a t-shirt that says coming soon with little baby feet on her belly. And then Bart has a t-shirt on that says we're pregnant, but mostly hurt.
Tell us when you found out, how you felt when you found out, because you must have been so cautious. I mean, it feels like you've gone through everything that IVF can throw at you. So to know that it's real now and to know that you're going to have a baby,
Yes.
I need more.
I'm going to be mom and Bart's going to be dad.
Yes, you are.
Congratulations, guys. Holy
Thank
smokes.
you. Oh, my gosh.
Wow.
Oh, I have been longing for this day. We have been longing for this day for 3.5 years, like I said in my letter. It's been a rocky road, and no shocker here, doing this last round of IVF was bumpy at best as well. And what had happened was July 4th, I did my egg retrieval. Now, mind you, my doctor was out of town for the July 4th weekend, and I had a different doctor on call who did my egg retrieval. And she ended up getting 6 eggs. And that means I am a low responder to the fertility meds. And the same thing happened last time in our last round. And then of those, Bert, stop tweeting about it. Focus.
I can do both. I can do both.
Let her have the first tweet.
Right?
So, they got six. We got 6 eggs, and then the next day, the nurse called and said, of the 6, 2 fertilized, which was grateful we have 2, but that's still, if under 50% fertilized, that's not great. In doing frozen, after they fertilize, they have to get to blastocyst, and then we do genetic testing, and so there's 2 more hurdles to get to a viable embryo. So I was bummed with the news, and I immediately started drinking, which I hadn't been doing, and spent the day drinking, and I missed another phone call from the fertility clinic saying, I'm so sorry I missed you. I really need to talk to you. I'm going to call you later tonight. It's going to be a block number because I'm calling from my house. Please answer. The dogs are excited too. And that was ominous, to say the least. And the nurse called that night at 8:30. So now we're talking, it's Sunday night. And she's like, do you have your meds? And I'm like, and she's like, your progesterone and your estrogen. And I'm like, what are you talking about? And she's like, well, our doctor's philosophy is if you are a low responder to the fertility meds, you should do a fresh cycle instead of a frozen cycle. And Bart and I were thrown for a loop because this had never been presented to us. We had never been given this option and didn't know the first thing about it. So we were pissed and we were confused and we were freaking out. And, I was tipsy and I'm like, what is going on? And so the next morning, Monday morning, which the BERT show happened to be on vacation that week because that was our 4th of July vacation. So Monday morning around 9, I get a call from my doctor who was back in town, and he apologized. He had put in my records, and it said our plan was to go frozen. But they called and they presented the fresh. And so he apologized, and he said he still wanted to go with the plan, but ultimately it was Bart and I's decision. We got to decide. And we're like, okay. We're still kind of upset and perturbed here. We're like, when do you need to know by? And mind you, it's 9:00 a.m. He goes, I need to know by noon. And we're like, okay. So we get off the phone, and Bart and I go to separate rooms at the house, and we immediately start doing a deep dive of research. Fresh versus frozen, finding all these stats and research and papers. And the numbers were sobering. Anybody who goes through this, we've learned so much through this process. I highly recommend doing as much research as you can. I know people say that that can bog you down, but in this instance, I think research is power. While if we have an embryo, a viable embryo, it has like a 65% chance of taking, the percentages of us where we are getting a viable embryo are not in our favor, to say the least. The numbers were very sobering. And then Bart found an article, and that was research that we felt was extremely important.
Her being a low responder, there's some compelling research that you go from, if you do a frozen cycle transfer, you have like an 11% chance of success, which was freak out, crazy. Okay, that's scary low percentage. But if you go fresh cycle with her age, how she responds to the fertility meds, the percentages may jump all the way up to 25%, which are still awful, but 2.5 times better. Mm-hmm. So ultimately, I was just like, whatever you want to do, I'm with you on board. And she felt like all of this was a sign to move forward.
So we're laying in bed, and I'm looking at him, and I just have tears streaming down my face. And my heart, my head, my gut said to go fresh. And I did feel like we were presented this information for a reason. All of this, my doctor was out of town, different doctor did the retreat. Like, I felt like all of this happened for a reason. So we called back and gave our decision. We wanted to do the fresh transfer. So Bart immediately ran to the pharmacy and got my meds, and I immediately started my progesterone and my estrogen. And the very next day, I was back at the clinic, and they transferred the 2 embryos that we were able to get from our retrieval. So after that, it was a 10-day wait period, and I went in for my blood work for the pregnancy test. And like last time, the night before, I took a home pregnancy test, and it was positive. However, same thing happened last time. And then 5 days after that positive pregnancy test, they called and said that, it didn't take. So having a little bit of PTSD from that last phone conversation of them calling and saying I wasn't pregnant, Bart was answering all of the phone calls. And we got the very first one saying that I was pregnant. But again, same thing happened last time, so we're being super cautious. But my HCG levels, that's the hormone they test to see if you're pregnant, was sky high. So they were actually thinking multiples.
And so they give us that number, which is encouraging. But then I'm like, what were her numbers last time? So they called up the first time when we were unsuccessful and just told her, hey, you're pregnant, and she jumped, off a cliff, both feet into sweet. Well, it turned out.
Like I do.
Yeah. So I wondered what the last number was, because I did some research, and her number last time was 100, which is right on the borderline of whoever made the phone call should have said, all right, let's temper our expectations. We have a positive test, but this may or may not take. It's right on that borderline. Whereas this time they're just like, okay, we are jacked on numbers. So that was a relief, but we're still cautiously optimistic, scared to death, but trying to keep our nerves in check.
So a couple days later, I go back in for more blood work and still positive. Then another week later, I go in for blood work and still positive. And then that's when they scheduled the first ultrasound. And that's when I was going to find out if there was 1 or 2 in there. So I went to the first ultrasound appointment. And of course, Bart hasn't been able to go on any of these appointments with me. We've had to FaceTime because, pandemic. So I'm there at that very first ultrasound appointment, and there it was. Our one baby who made it on the screen. And seeing that made it real, but still super early. I had a couple more ultrasounds before I graduated from the fertility clinic. After, the first one, it looks like a little melted gummy bear. Like, it's not really distinguishable. It does.
But seeing that melted gummy bear to you for the very first time, do you immediately start crying? Do you start yelling?
Didn't.
I mean,
I didn't do any of that. I was calm, cool, and collected, which is so unlike me. Because I was being so protective of my heart because of all the heartache we had experienced for the past 3.5 years. And I didn't want to I've been working on, like Bart said, tempering my expectations, because that high is so high, but that low is so low. And I just wanted to maintain the middle as much as possible. And it's not saying that I didn't appreciate what I was seeing and what I was going through, but my exuberance was contained.
Sure. I mean, you've gone through so many highs and so many lows on this thing. How can you?
Yes.
It wouldn't even be. You have to be a robot to completely jump in and believe this is real, right?
Especially after last time. So it changed the game. So after, and then the next ultrasound, there was movement, real movement.
The gummy bear moving.
Yeah, and this time it didn't look like a gummy bear. It looked like a baby. And there was a little wave in the video. And I'm just like, this is real. This is happening. And so I graduate from the fertility clinic and I get my OB. And as of this point, I'm 15 weeks. Baby is healthy and growing accordingly. And I'm pregnant.
I've got chills. I have chills. I literally have chills watching you want this so much. and sharing the ups and the downs and of something this important. Finally being able to come on here today and say that you guys are going to be parents, that you're pregnant, has given me chills. I mean, and I think Bart was joking, but 2020 needed this for us. This was not about you, Kristin. This was not about Bart. This was about all of us. Congratulations, you guys.
Thank you. And I mean, the stories are going to be that we already have a plethora of stories. I felt bad. Bert's like, dig deeper for your personal stories. And I'm like, I can't share it yet.
Good luck with everybody else this week submitting personal stories.
And on top of that,
you guys, we did it!
So freaking happy for you guys.
so happy.
There it is. You can see the little belly bump.
There's a whole belly there.
Kristin is pregnant. She's pregnant. Say it again. I'm pregnant.
I'm pregnant, damn it!
Hey, The BERT Show.